Peace and love, y'all. It's your brother A.D.V.I.S.S back with another episode of What's the Word Wednesdays, Season 4, Episode 11. Now, as we usually do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the logo for the show, as well as I'm going to put down in the comments the topics for tonight. But as you're coming in, y'all let me know how y'all doing, how y'all feeling, and what's the word. Shout out to Shinobi. Peace and love, brother. What's the word? As well as Tim the House Cat. Peace and one love. What's going on? What's the word? Again, appreciate y'all coming in. Share a word, share a thought, whatever it may be, man. How are we doing today? What's the word? And as y'all are doing that, shouts out to y'all that's here, as well as shouts out to those who'll be watching this now or later, whether on Instagram or YouTube. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to your boy at A.D.V.I.S.S Speaks. I will be dropping other content there. If you're tired of me talking, then just drop me in there, a follow, subscribe, all of that. But A.D.V.I.S.S Speaks one more time. Show your brother some love. But yeah, with that, also shouts out to the brother right here, the Mad Chemist. I may not do any of the 420 stuff, but shouts out to the Mad Chemist. Check out some of his stuff as well too at Mad Chemist 420. Find him on Instagram. Now, yes, I got you. Hey, it's all love. I appreciate the love. So for tonight's episode, we are going to be getting into the topics of course, we go and do our current events like we usually do. Then after that, we're going to be talking about strength. And then lastly, we're going to talk about signs that you are becoming stronger. So that you have been making those moves and that you are able to, again, feel that strength, whatever it may be. We'll be talking about that. But yeah, appreciate you. I kind of looked at it too. Again, I had to say shouts out to the Mad Chemist. I had brought this hat a long while back, and then I just got this green shirt. So I was like, yo, this actually goes straight together pretty well. So I was like, you know what? Let's rock it. But again, let's go ahead and let's do the show song. After the show song, we'll do some news. And then from there, we'll keep it pushing. Right. You just came in time, chicken and beef. For those who don't know, this is What's the Word Wednesdays. This is the theme song. I sing it for now, but eventually this is the last season. So when it's done, it's going to be a real song. It goes like this. What's the word, y'all? What's the word? What's the word, y'all? What's the word? What's the word, y'all? What's the word? Tell them like, what's the word? What's the word? What you heard? We gotta know, yeah, what's the word? Once again, y'all, it's your brother A.D.V.I.S.S, and we are here with another episode of What's the Word Wednesdays, Season 4, the final season, Episode 11. So with y'all getting in here, I appreciate y'all shouting it out, saying, hey, good, what's going on? This topic for tonight is definitely well hitting and is at home. So I'm grateful y'all are tuning in on this. Again, shouts out to y'all that are here, as well as those who'll be watching this later, whether on Instagram or YouTube. You know the spiel, you know the deal. Subscribe and you'll get the real. All right. Rapper. Shouts to my brother Lyrics. But again, for tonight's episode, we're going to be talking and going through current events. Then we're going to speak about strength, however we want to interpret that. And then lastly, we're going to talk about signs you're becoming stronger. But yeah. So, mama, no. But yeah, other than that, y'all, let's go ahead and let's jump into the first topic, which we're going to be talking about some current events. So if you're not up for the news, not wanting to hear any of the news, anything of that sort, we'll be here for like 15, 20 minutes. And then after that, we'll move to the next topic. So Just letting y'all know. So, speaking of news, first article I got for y'all comes from Jacobin, or the Jacobin, which I find very interesting because it popped into my eye. But if y'all have any topics or any news that you want to share, please throw them down in the comments. But the first article, again, coming from Jacobin, and the article reads, "The atomic bombings of Japan were based on lies." You heard that. The atomic bombings of Japan were based on lies. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read 3 of those paragraphs, and then after that, we're out. You can read the rest. I will reread the title. You can find it from there. Article reads, "As we mark the 78th anniversary of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we bear witness to a peculiar paradox. On the one hand, a greater percentage of Americans that ever been now doubt the necessity of using nuclear wars or weapons against Japan. By contrast, the argument justifying their use remains stubbornly persistent. This is noteworthy considering the historical evidence on how clearly indicates that Japan was on the brink of surrender at the moment when these weapons were employed. The decision to initiate an instant Holocaust against potentially as many as 210,000 Japanese civilians was complex and multifaceted. The principal argument mounted to justify the use of atomic bombs that they would quickly end the war and avoid an invasion that could result in as many as 1 million casualties doesn't hold much weight. Instead, historical evidence more strong suggests and indicate America's desire to circumvent the need for negotiations with the Soviet Union over the future of East Asia. The Potsdam Conference, held by Allied leadership in the summer of 1945, aimed to determine the post-war settlement in Europe. I know there's a lot of jargons being said. The United States did not want to be forced into similar negotiations with the Soviets at the table for the post-war settlement of the Pacific. So, enhanced, all that's going on is showing that, or letting us know that there is a lot more details behind really the bombings, and what was broadcasted is not a full depiction of what happened. Again, if you want to read more about this, you can go to the article. The article comes from Jacobin, however you want to say it. And the article reads, "The atomic bombings of Japan were based on lies." That's the first one. Second one, again, I don't know what's going on with Mother Nature and things of that sort right now, but we have an article coming from CNN, and the headline reads, "At least 6 dead as Maui wildfires overwhelm hospitals, server 911 services, and force people to flee into the ocean." So there's a lot going on in Hawaii. Let me read 3 paragraphs and then we're out. Article reads, "At least 6 people have died as a result of the fires that are continuing to ravage parts of Maui." The island's mayor, Richard Bison Jr., said at a Wednesday morning conference. "I'm sad to report that just before coming on this, it is confirmed that we have 6 fatalities." He said, "We are still in the search and rescue mode." He did not offer further details about the deaths. More than a dozen people have to be rescued from the ocean, among them 2 young children, officials in Maui County said. Several people are also unaccounted for, Bison added. As a result of 3 fires that had occurred that are continuing here on our island, we have had 13 evacuations from different neighborhoods and towns, and we've had 16 road closures. We've opened 5 shelters, Bison said. Noting more than 2,000 people were staying at shelters. So to all my folks on the island in Maui, out in Hawaii. Sending y'all protection, love, and moral support. Because again, these fires, these other weather conditions is going on right now. We got to be careful and mindful. Some of that not only springs this way, but yeah, just be alert, y'all. So again, if y'all want to read more, this article comes from CNN, and the headline reads, "At least 6 dead as Maui wildfires overwhelm hospitals. Server 911 services because it's not severe. It's server 911 services and force people to flee into the ocean." Very, very interesting, y'all. All right. This one on a lighter note. This one actually comes from, this article comes from Metro, like the Metro. And the headline reads, "Scientists change the number of steps needed to stay healthy." So all my folks who be stepping, them big steppers that's out there, we'll see what they say. Before what it was, but now what it has changed to. So article reads, "Scientists change the number of steps needed to stay healthy. Good news. If you struggle to get your 10,000 steps a day," which if they've said, "walking as few as 4,000 steps still reduces the risk of dying from any health-related cause." So get those 4,000 steps. Walking just 2,337 steps a day reduces the risk of dying from cardiovascular disease. For decades, 10,000 steps has been the benchmark for those trying to boost their health, even though the figure was initially decided not by scientists, but by Japanese marketing team advertisers for a pedometer. Now, nonetheless, the figure has become embedded in health regimes around the world, and numerous studies have confirmed the benefits of hitting the magic number. So that 10,000, right now they're saying if you get just even 4,000 or even that 2,337, that you can help with lowering the risk for cardiovascular disease. Last one on here. I'm not going to read all of them. Now, however, new research published in European Journal of Preventive Cardiology has shown even walking less than 10,000 steps still has significant health benefits. Analysis of 226,889 people from 17 different studies found that the risk of dying from any health-related cause, including cardiovascular disease, decreases significantly with every extra 500 to 1,000 steps walked. So, interesting. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, there's 4 more slides in this show, or 3 more slides in this show. So if you want to read more about it again, you can go to the article which is from Metro, and the headline reads, "Scientists change the number of steps needed to stay healthy." I think that's pretty cool, because I think me and you, Shinobi, have the same one. Like, it suggested to me 6,000 or roughly 7,000, which I get around. Honestly, I average sometimes out around 4,500 throughout the day, depending on where I am. And then I would do the extras when I would get home. But now I'm definitely going to keep pushing on this because it's important. But yes. So it's great. It says you can have those benchmarks, 4,000, even anything above. And then 10,000 being that, big number that they did use. Just get out there and walk. It's important. Brisk walk, 30 minutes. That 30 minutes might equal up to that first 4,000. Who knows? Right. Next article I got for y'all. I'm just going to read the headline for this one, and y'all can go and look through it later. But, yeah, because there's some words in there I'm not necessarily, I think I could do it. Never mind. Let's read this one, because I think it's interesting, since we're still in the idea of health right now. This article comes from The Conversation, and the headline reads, "Immune cells that fight cancer become exhausted within hours of first encountering tumors. New research." Because there's research, I think last time that I spoke about, but there's more that's coming out, that there has been a breakthrough of finding certain cyto cells or things that is able to attack the tumors and actually make cancer, basically being able to fight cancer. Right. Article reads, any key function of our immune system is to detect and eliminate foreign pathogens such as bacteria and viruses. Immune cells, like T cells, do this by distinguishing between different types of proteins within cells, which allows them to detect the presence of infection or disease. A type of T cell called a cytotoxic T cell, can recognize the mutated protein or cancer cells and should therefore be able to kill them. However, in most patients, cancer cells grow unchecked despite the presence of T cells. In that particular case, the cytotoxic T cells. The current explanation scientists have as to why T cells fail to eliminate cancer cells is because they become exhausted. The idea that T cells initially function well when they first face off against cancer cells, but gradually lose their ability to kill the cancer cells after repeated encounters. Cancer autoimmune therapies such as immune checkpoint inhibitors and CAR T cell therapy have shown remarkable promise by inducing long-lasting remission in some patients with otherwise incurable cancer. However, these therapies often fail to induce long-term responses in most patients, and the T cell exhaustion is a major culprit. So, you can read more into it. I'm not going to read the whole article for you, but if you want to learn more about these T cells and what is fighting off your immune system, all the different cells that help, go over to the conversation, and the headline reads, immune cells that fight cancer become exhausted within hours of first encountering tumors. New research. Any information new that is very helpful is great to know. I'm going to briefly just go over this one. I'm not going to go too much into it, but this is another headline that I saw that actually got me interested, and now it actually, to me, debunks that dementia can happen, and it only happens later on down the line when you get older. So this one says, basically, moms heartbreak as toddlers are diagnosed with dementia. So now you even got toddlers coming up with dementia very young. I know there's a such thing as TikTok brain and how that can have an impact, and saying there could be almost a causal link between that and early onset dementia, things of that sort. Don't quote me. You can look this stuff up yourself. But yeah, I just saw this and I'm like, dang. So toddlers is also getting dementia. What's this world coming to? Or these genes, I don't know. But yeah, just real quick, wanted to gloss over and share that. As well as for my folks who's pushing these packages the legal way, looks like there has been possibilities of them landing higher payments. And what I mean by that is, this article comes from Business Insider, and the headline reads, tech workers react to UPS drivers landing a $170,000 a year package with a mixture of anger and admiration. So my folks who are pushing it on UPS, here it is. I'm just going to read the 3 bullet points, and you can have the rest. Y'all read it after that. So the bullet points say the average UPS driver can get $170,000 in pay and benefits in 5 years' time in a new contract. So now, see, they ain't even trying to say up straight a year, in 5 years' time. So they're going to split that between 5. So we actually got to break that down. We'll see. Tech workers say that the boost could make UPS drivers pay competitive with tech salaries. It's very true. Some tech workers say they feel underpaid in comparison, and others point out UPS drivers having difficult jobs. So as the economy moves and shifts, and we had during COVID the essential jobs, some of these places are getting bumps in pay, while others is either staying the same while inflation continues to go up and the cost of living goes up. Now, this is a very competitive, or can get to competitive pay for our UPS folks. So, again, if you want to read on this, comes from Business Insider, and the headline reads, Tech workers react to UPS drivers landing a $170,000 a year package with a mixture of anger and admiration. And for me to also revise what I was saying, within 5 years, they're thinking of moving that to 170,000. So we'll see. All right. Again, I'm going to read some headlines for NPR, and then we'll jump to the next topic. But if y'all have any topics that y'all want to share, put down in the comments. Please put them down in there. I appreciate y'all's time. Appreciate y'all coming in here, rocking, and just showing your support. Now, again, www.npr.org. www.npr.org. You can check out other news as well, too. But we have one that says how a trial in Texas changed the story of abortion rights in America. They have one a headline of what we spoke about with the Hawaii wildfires. We have 6 takeaways from Disney's quarterly earnings call at 84. He has completed his goal of riding all 21,000 miles of the Amtrak network. So somebody was going around doing that. Man accused of threatening Biden shot and no longer is in this world. An FBI raid in Utah. As well as new car prices are cooling, but experts say you still might want to wait to buy. We have Robbie Robertson, guitarist of the band, and Bob Dylan has passed away at 80. It's one of the headlines. And salutes. And let's see. Yeah, Biden's orders restrictions on U.S. investments in Chinese technology. Again, we got that whole situation going back and forth. But yeah, those are only a few. I'm not going to read them all. I know there's one that folks are actually speaking about and talking about right now. The 3 men in the whole Montgomery brawl. That's another one that's there. But yeah, another time. But other than that, y'all, this is all the news. If y'all have any other news reports that y'all want to share and want to talk about, please put them down in the comments. I appreciate it. And say, hey, how are you? What's going on, Kundan? Did you hear about the Alabama riverboat brawl? Yeah. I'm not necessarily gonna speak much to it. That's only if we want to, but yeah, it's more news, especially what's hitting everything. The Trump indictment, yeah. Talked about the Trump. I didn't talk about the Trump indictment, but it's on there. Yes. Y'all got more. Keep it coming if y'all got more. While I'm setting up for the next portion of stuff, which as that's going on, as we move to the next topic, what about the UFO? I did not speak about the UFO stuff. I did not hear about that. What's up with the UFO? The only thing I heard about was something, and this was a couple of days ago, of somewhere in South America that folks were fighting 7-foot alien looking individuals or people. I don't know. So in the gaming world, I was impressed with the blind guy that was in the top 6 for Street Fighter. Wait, what? Yo. My man was going in there with Blind Fury. Shouts out to Blind Fury as well, man. That brother's a spitter, but that's dope. Coming in. That's definitely a feat. That's a big feat in itself. But man, you definitely got to have some supersonic hearing. Didn't know accessibility was that advanced in gaming. Yes. UFO hearing in Congress. They admit there are aliens and alien artifacts. I will say, what else is new? One of the main tactics, and again, don't quote me on this. This is what I've observed and watched. One of the easiest and the main tactics that they use is reverse psychology. You're like, what are you talking about when it comes to reverse psychology? When they say that they don't have something, they actually have something. As well as they put things in plain sight and then say, oh no, that's not actually anything. That is just a dramatization. That is just a figment of your imagination. And it actually is true. There's a slither of that truth. Because anything that's conjured up, created from an idea, and then is manifested or it is created into the physical, that thought and a possibility is there. We say possibilities because there's possible that stuff can be there. Once they confirm things like this, or they hide certain things that's like this, it makes you, again, it puts a alert up in your head like, okay, yeah, something's up with that. But with my little spill, that was it. That was it for all the news. Appreciate y'all adding to the news. Now, let's go ahead and let's jump to the next topic, which the next topic we're going to be talking about is strength. But before I even get to strength, again, I got to give y'all the disclaimer. When it comes to disclaimer, I appreciate y'all coming through and supporting. As much as I like to just sit here and look at y'all's comments and read, I am offering and extending, again, an invitation to come on. If you're comfortable to come on, just know that when you come on, this stuff is recorded and is going to be saved on Instagram, YouTube, and other platforms. If you're not comfortable with that, then it's fine. You can stay in the comments. But if you are, you're more than welcome to come on. And again, it's build as we're talking about this stuff, okay? So, just like you know, that's the disclaimer. But with that, let's go ahead and let's talk about and jump to the next topic about strength. Now, again, to go ahead and at least have a basis of where we're going to be talking about with strength, I'm going to give y'all a definition because we're going to pull from various different places to go and talk about strength. But again, shouts out to Chris, and we're a Webster's Dictionary, and we have a definition for strength. In this particular case, it is a noun. We have multiple ones, so I'm going to just read and go through all of them. So the first one for strength is the quality or state of being strong, capacity for exertion or endurance. Strength. Number 2, power to resist force. The examples is solidity and toughness. Third one, power of resisting attack. So being impregnable. So you're not able to be, not say necessarily damaged, but you're not easily pushed through. The fourth one, which has 2 subs. First one is legal, logical, or a moral force. So strength being legal, logical, or a moral force. The B side to that, a strong attribute or inherent asset. So the strengths and the weaknesses of the book are evident in those particular cases. I appreciate that. If y'all got some for strength, please put them down in the comments when you hear about it. I haven't done that in a minute, where it's like, all right, when you hear the word strength, what are some thoughts that come to mind? Put it down in the comments, some phrases, all of that, while I'm reading these. Another one, a degree or a degree of potency, of effect, or of concentration. The chili peppers in varying strengths. Another one, intensity of light, color, sound, or odor. It's another one of strength. We have vigor or expression. Still got 4 more. It's crazy. Force as measured in numbers, effective numbers of any body or organization. So an army at full strength. Another one regarding as embodying or affording force or firmness. So support is another way of showing strength. I like all of this. You are my love and my strength. Maintenance of or rising tendency in a price level. Firmness of prices. The strength of the dollar. So again, getting into some economics. And then lastly, it says basis, using the phrase on the strength of. So on the basis of, on the strength of doing this. So I think it's very interesting. I like it. All right, before I get into it, I love what y'all putting down in there. So let me read it. Strength can be physical or emotional or psychological too. This is basically ringing true. And this is the multi-layer of our words in English showing you that across various experiences and ways that you can use the word, it applies. Shoot, it's going from economics to support to physical of people in an organization together, a body of people, talking about strengths and weaknesses of attributes, talking about moral force, talking about, of course, not being able to be easily pushed aside. Just a number of stuff that strength is already talking and alluding to. Said, sing, it's all illusion, it's all in my mind. Well, he's singing that song. Hey, I appreciate you for checking the song out. That song, I love that song. Shouts out to the brother Reed Notes, aka Sincerely Notes the Truth. Shouts out to that brother. Able to withstand. Yes, strength. Have the strength. You are able to withstand. There's also Strength Finder 2.0 assessment. It's about $14. There's also knockoff free versions. I actually took the Strength Finders test, and I'm so glad that you brought up the Strength Finders test because of the fact that I actually, to this day, I haven't went back and redid it, but a long time ago, I actually took the Strength Finder test, and I got my top 5 strengths, and I keep them in my room all the time. So I'm actually going to share those as we're going through that when we get to that portion. So thank y'all for even bringing that up. Shouts out to you, Kundan. Thank you. Support is one of my greatest strengths. I can definitely say that for sure. Even with all the trolling and even the funniness. But when you come in, you seriously come in. I appreciate it. Support for sure is one of your greatest strengths, chicken and beef. I agree. I definitely agree. All of y'all. I mean, y'all should all put that down because y'all come through and y'all come and support me while I'm in here. So I see that as a strength in y'all. So thank y'all for that. Everybody who does. So appreciate it. Right. So now where do we want to go? What do we want to talk about when it comes to strength? I think naturally the first thing when we start thinking of strength is the physicality of strength. So being able to withstand certain heavy objects, loads of, working out, the physical exercise of strength, being able to pick up things with ease over a certain amount of pounds. I mean, in the U.S. especially, but if you're in other places, it's kilograms, but pounds in that case. So when speaking of that type of strength, the first folks that I think of when it comes to that type of strength, there's two at least groups of folks that I think of when it comes to that. Bodybuilders, as well as firemen. You're like, firemen? Yes, I think I'm firemen when it comes to strength. Because of the fact that you have to have the physical ability, and there's more people I'm already thinking about in groups as we're doing this, to have the physical ability to move and be able to pick up certain objects, either 2 times your weight, or even, again, to break human expectation of what you can lift and do at a certain time, to me is amazing. With bodybuilding, again, being able to show how much you can train the human body itself, which your cells also form a group of things to provide support to your whole body and create that strength. That's how you get the strength in your arms and stuff. You're breaking down those muscles, but as you're sleeping, they're being built up. So they're coming together to create, again, those repairments in those tissues to help you feel bigger, help you feel stronger as you are building your body. Not build a bear, but you're building your body. That's why they call it bodybuilding. Easy connections. But again, to see folks do amazing feats of picking up things like that. Very, 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 very wonderful to see at times. But yeah, it says, speaking of strength, I'm rolling some. Y'all are hilarious. Yeah, that can also be, again, the strength. The strength you're talking about is the degree of potency of effect or of concentration, that percentage. Yes. Just because it's 420 up here, and shouts out to my brother, the mad chemist, still not in that in particular, but yeah. Now, the other subset of folks, the second folks, I'm also going to throw in a third because of that, was firefighters. The reason why I say firefighters, and shouts out to the brother Lyrics 156 in the building. You heard, you dig. Firefighters, because of the fact that their strength is in multiple folds. I think of the physical side of them having to pick up that hose. I don't know if y'all have ever tried to pick up a firefighter's hose. I remember doing that when I was a kid, when we used to have career day, when they would have different folks come in and talk about their careers and their jobs. That hose ain't no joke. That hose is heavy. And how long the hose is, pause for folks who want to go that way. It shows like, man, if you ain't lifting and getting that done, like, nah, it's not even happening. But also the suits that they wear also is basically weighted. The running that they have to do is just a lot of the conditioning and training of their body too is needed to be a fighter. And then on top of that, the strength, the mental strength that they have to face danger. Going into places where there's blazing heat and fire happening. That's what I already said. I already said that already. And figuring out how to maneuver through places, get everyone safe, as well as themselves keeping them safe. He said, he ain't hoes. Y'all are hilarious. Nah. Y'all are hilarious. But again, on the other side of firefighters being able to not only have the physical strength, but the mental strength to be able to withstand this stuff, to me, again, very commendable. Now, the other group that I think of is off the top of my head, because, again, a lover of hip-hop. Shouts out to 50 years of hip-hop. Hip-hop's birthday is actually going to be coming up in a couple of days. Well, 2 days to be exact, y'all. August 11th. So shout outs to hip-hop. 50 years. But one of the elements in hip-hop, to me, it takes a lot of strength and coordination to do. And that's the B-boys. So shouts out to all the B-boys that's out there just putting their bodies on the line and sacrificing for the art to express itself. Because from them freezes to them power moves to the top rocking, all of those things, man, and footwork, it takes a lot of strength. Your body, your core, learning how to maneuver your body into certain situations, like that takes a lot of strength. And I've gotten to try a few times because I wanted to be that person that's embodying all of the different elements of hip hop, because I love hip hop that much as a culture. I've seen my homies who are in the culture and they do this and they do it. Man, I went to like one practice, just seeing what they do. I'm like, man, I don't know how y'all, like, again, it takes not only the strength, but the confidence, the concentration, and the consistency to keep building that body to be able to do those things, man, on the real. So I have to give my shout outs and respect to the B-boyers out there, man. Shoot, B-boying ain't no joke at all. I love it. I could still learn, but I need to condition my body, especially now. I need to drop some more pounds. Y'all can't really tell, but I gotta drop some more pounds. Can't do it, you know? But yeah, as I'm continuing, let me see. Y'all are all up in here hitting the comments up. Said, I will never pick up a firefighter hose. Never. I'm telling you, facts. What's up? Shouts out to the brother Fred Wizard in the building, man. What's going on, as well as around to tattoos. My bad, my G, but love to see y'all in here. That's what we talking about. They doing it well. Oh yeah, as well as, how can I forget? Thank you for bringing that up too, Lyrics. In all of this too, the strength of The brother again is with the universe. Sean P. Shouts out to Sean Price, man. I will definitely say that man definitely has the strength when it comes to the microphone, and as well as just who he was as a person. That I heard he's really was a really down to earth, dope, comedic, funny human being. So I gotta give my flowers as well too to Sean Price, because Sean Price also shaped the way that I would rap and rhyme at times. There's a number of beats that I rapped on that had Sean Price's songs, man. Onion Head, shouts out to Onion Head, man. Shoot, King Kong, One, man. There's so many songs I can go through that I love by Sean Price. That's where I got the listen. I got it from Sean Price. But in all of that, going back to the different types of strength, we know the physicality of strength is important. We know that for you to have that strength, again, there's prerequisites and requirements to do so. But if you're not up to task, again, to go down that route of getting the physical strength of things, and you just have your natural physical strength, there you go. You got the physical side of that already, you know? Said DJ Casper, Mr. Cha Cha Slide. What? Really? Why y'all dropping all of these and B girls? Yes, you're right. And shouts out to the B girls, B boys and B girls all around the world. Thank y'all. Yeah, thank y'all for, again, yeah, keep me accountable. I'm not the knower of all, and I do slip and forget things. So thank you. Y'all just check me. That's how it goes. That's how we build. Again, bodybuilding. We building. I'm just playing. I'm not gonna go that with all of that. And then as well as Pumpkinhead. Shouts out to Pumpkinhead again, man. He rests with the universe as well too, man. So that's just how it goes. Let me find out. Nah, I was thinking of B-boys as just a pocket term, but I'm like just a whole umbrella term. But I'm glad again you made it specific, so thank you for reminding me. Right. Now the other one that I wanted to touch on when it comes to strength, as well as the power of resisting an attack. And I'm not going to even talk about like a physical attack. I'm even talking about the mental attacks, the everyday people try to get under your skin type of attacks. So being able to build that tough skin that we've talked about comes to an idea of also gaining that type of mental strength. And I know it's hard, especially for a lot of folks nowadays, because people just be popping off. And some folks run into the wrong person and they learn their lesson very quickly. Or if they don't learn their lesson, they are in for a rude awakening when it comes. But I love how you're just going down all the folks. We'll have that time for hip hop. We got to do something for hip hop. I'm actually going to be performing on the 11th on a Friday for hip hop, all of them. So, we putting all the legends in there, but I'm not going to go through and talk about all the legends, but much love to hip hop, because I'd rather do a separate one for hip hop in general. Just a separate show for hip hop, and we can just talk about it. But just even on a regular, it don't even have to be a show. Just people come through and we talk about it. But to have the mental strength to deal with a day is one of the skills that we must and is needed to build, because other folks that deal with this and what we see and what we do and what happens, we have to prepare. We prepare ourselves every single day when a lot of that stuff happens. And when we don't take the time to help mentally build ourselves, we allow any and everything to have an impact and effect on us without knowing, and also with us knowing. It's definitely a much needed skill to have. Yo, yo, yo,
What's
what's
up,
the
my
word? What's going on, my
gangster?
G? What's up, G?
Damn, bro, hip hop's birthday's right around the corner.
Yep. But yeah,
I was
my
gonna,
G. But go
I
ahead.
was gonna tell you if you do me a favor and tell Mike Hempstead to unblock me and put me on that fucking show, bro. The fuck?
This ain't the right time and place for that. We can talk about that
Nah,
later.
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna fucking Scooby. I'm just gonna crash this fucking show.
Oh my goodness! You
I'm
just
gonna fucking pull up.
watch him play this back, man. Don't start. I'm trying to keep my shows from getting banned, my man, because I'm trying to finish this season before that all happened. So, my man,
Nah, it's all love. I'm not gonna crash it in the
yeah,
bad way. I'm just gonna fucking pull up and yo, what's
yeah,
up? Let's rap and just like, cause I still got love for the homie. So it's like,
yeah. You want to go and support? I understand.
but
I understand.
it's like, oh, you
Do
throw a show
yeah.
not invited, right word?
Hey,
Fuck.
man.
Nah, it's all
Oh
love,
my
man.
goodness.
Hey, what's the word though? What's going on Wednesday?
All right, man. Shots. I'm talking about strength right now. I got into the mental. I was talking about the mental side of strength because we know a lot about the physical. So I did some shout outs already. So I'm gonna do them again. So shouts out to the bodybuilders and folks who are building on their health, that type of strength, as well as the fighters. Again, that go in and fight and they have that. Also the mental strength to go in and do those things and the physical things that they're able to do, as well as the B boys and the B girls. That's where I brought the 50 year of hip hop in that
Mm,
reference to was to the B boys and B girls, because again, that's a skill that hardly not many people have, and it's a beautiful thing to see, and then the expression of art at the same time. But again, man,
the thing about b-boying and b-girling, bro, to master that element, like your body is in like supreme fucking condition. Like
yeah,
those dudes getting down, like bro, they're fucking fit as hell, man. Like I was thinking about the other day, like one of my homies was showing me videos of this homie, and I was like, bro, like talking about doing fucking backflips and I was like, you're mad, like you're mad, like in shape. You know, that's real physical.
yes,
That's so. Shouts out to hip hop for that.
yes.
Um, yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, that's the
I see
that's
that. You see that meme? I was like, where do you work out? This is the library. I
but
love
no,
that. Man.
that's still an important piece of really again, because you have
Strength.
to prepare. You got to prepare yourself every day in any way, shape, and form. So you got to have that mental fortitude. What's going on? Peace, 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 and love. What's up?
Here
Yo,
to deliver aloe,
Ooh,
aloe for
yeah.
that ass.
okay,
That'll
building
be
your strength.
$15.
Yeah, nah, yeah, with all of that.
Strength.
Right.
Man, I swear, people. All right, all right. This is what they want to do. They want to hear the story real quick. Of course, I will entertain this, and then after that, we gonna continue. It says why they block my man. They want to know.
I don't know. I didn't block myself. You know, like
They like the I don't know what history they want to know, but there's some type of history that they wanted to know before we
the
keep
homie
moving on.
obviously felt some way, and honestly, I don't know. You know, I don't know. I saw him last time, and he passed me the microphone and put me on, and it was all cool. It was as if nothing happened. But clearly, like I can't see his posts anymore. uh, I ain't tripping on that.
Wait, but
It's all love.
you see when I post the stuff,
Yeah, so I'm like, what the fuck? So obviously he's still doing stuff and still like, yeah.
man, and y'all are
What?
wild in the comments with all of that.
What chicken and beef? What's up with all that?
You know, he's talking about what did you do, bro? He's saying he want to know what did you do
I don't know.
since we sidebar and stuff. So then he's not too sure. You want to get a whole full story? Guess what? You can come check out um another
Pull up
show
this
we
Friday.
have. Yeah,
Pull up this Friday. Yeah.
pull up on Friday, but those folks is out in the East Coast, so yeah, that's not happening. Um,
What's up, Billy?
with that being said, G, I also want to talk about when it comes to the ideal strength. It also said on here another definition for it said it says legal, logical, or the moral force. So basically speaking about also having morals, and the morality piece of that provides strength.
What are you talking about?
And how I look at that too, again, we me and you both we look into and we talk a bit with about stoicism, and how within the stoics they have their own moral code.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And with that moral code, it provides them that type of strength again to attack and challenge the day. I don't know what sound that is in the back, bro, but I can hear it's pretty loud.
Oh shit. Hold up. What's up?
But again, just speaking about how having a type of moral code and morals that you stand on also provides again a sense of strength.
Yeah, whether it's religion or certain like philosophy. Yeah, like, I just mean like you're able to pull, find strength in many things. Yeah, yeah, that's what you're talking about, right?
It's being able to have something, a foundation to stand on, helps to build. Anything having to do with building can lead to strength in some way, shape, or form. Learning a skill, you strengthen that
I'm about to
skill.
say as like an MC.
Yes. The
Yeah.
more and more, and since we on hip hop, the more and more that you practice the culture or you practice the craft of MCing and rapping, the better you will be at that skill. If I practice
It's crazy.
freestyles all days, go ahead.
Yeah. It's crazy how that right there, like, what you just said, has been confirmed. Like for the longest time ever, it's like knowledge where it's mathematics. It's just simple mathematics.
Yes.
You put in the time and you get that. It's crazy. But it's easier said than
Mm,
done, right? For
yeah. Rom tattoos. Yes. It again. That's why it takes strength to overcome. It takes to be able to have that concentration of you
sure.
being able to do it for you to continue to build and embody that stuff. Because in another one, it also says, which a lot of the folks in here is speaking on it already, is the the idea of support also being strength. It's your strength. And having people support you, being able to build a group around stuff, be able to put on events like you would do, and other people put on events. It takes
Power
folks in a
numbers.
group, power in numbers. So again, it's simple mathematics, like you saying. Also, the power in numbers. But let's see, you said in here, you say you heard that the more you take showers, the better you'll be at. Hilarious. That's of course, man. That's what they doing in here. It's hilarious. Um, but the other thing I wanted to also touch on when it came to strength is, and people forget about this aspect of it, because we can also see it as a weakness. And when I mean forget, not many people practice it, and that's also the ability to know when to stop. Being
When something
able,
isn't like obviously working out.
so when so I know people don't like to use the idea of having limitations and thinking that, oh, everything is limitless, every impossible is impossible, we can do all of this stuff. You put your mind to it and stuff.
Oh, like
So
taking a break.
no, not taking a break, but being able to know when to stop. But you can say that for taking a break, but know when to stop. And I look at it in certain different ways. The one way that I think about when knowing when to stop, basically, again, when building your body, especially working out, and not until failure, because sometimes even until failure doesn't fully build all of your stuff. But being able to know that, oh, I'm almost 3 reps before I know I can't push anymore. Because then that helps to then build more of a, well, at least from my own observation, it helps to build even more from then you just going to failure. Because if you keep failure in your muscles, you're not giving it time to really rebuild itself.
Oh
Versus
yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah.
to that point,
That's
you're
I
about to.
get that. Yeah.
That's one aspect. The other aspect I think about, as well as when knowing to stop, and this is being able to show humility. And this is on the battlefield for some folks. When you know you've already defeated and you won and you beat your enemy and it's over and done, to not just go overboard and become merciless, but knowing that it's that time that there it is, that's it. Like literally to be able to know when I've already incapacitated you in any way, shape, or form. There is no way that you can harm me any further.
Yeah, you already fucked up the homie. Why you gotta stomp his head out and kill him? And you're already down. Like shit, you like that,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. There's
exactly.
many ways knowing when to stop. You put too much weight, you overdo it, you end up hurting yourself. And you would have stopped, you would have been good. Oh yeah, I get you.
Yes. So if we want to even talk about it with vices, with the things that you do, we keep always talking about everything in, what?
Moderation.
And everything in moderation. So that's even showing know when to stop. For folks who, again, I don't necessarily go out and do it myself, but if you know you're gonna go out and have a good time, and you know you got to go home and drive, you got to know when you got to stop. There's a limit, because if you overdo it, you know what could happen, the possibilities of stuff that could happen. So being able to know when, again, where that threshold is, where that to the top that you need to cap it off, to me is an important skill. Shoot, I can be, look, you could end up, say this for example,
Earlier.
playing, I'll even say this, playing from Wheel of Fortune. I know it's funny, either Wheel of Fortune or even The Price is Right. When those folks spin the wheels and do all of that stuff, if you spin it too hard, you can over project. You can over project what prize you wanted to even shoot for or get, versus, again, doing just enough. Because
Yeah,
sometimes,
I know what you mean. Like, they have the chance to like keep going, right? And you get a little greedy, and yeah.
yes, yes. That also comes to learning how to deal with things with care too. Because if I'm doing something very intricate, so shout out to my engineers that's out there, all my architects that are out there. There's a level of precision, there is a level of care, and a level of concentration and effort that it takes to make precise measurements when building stuff. So the folks who are building our houses, who are creating these plans, who are getting all these materials together, if they just full force everything, the life expectancy of some of the stuff of your building will be less, versus how it could be more sustainable over time. So being able to have more of longevity with these items, because you took the time and the care and you just didn't full force things with all of your strength, versus I'm strong enough, I'm just gonna put this nail straight through it.
Well,
That could save some time.
yeah, it's talking about like the foundation.
in
Like really
in a
setting a strong foundation, taking the time to set that foundation and building on that, right? That's gonna.
in a sense, but more so being able to learn how to do things delicately, because it takes specified skill to do stuff. You can't exert full force when trying to put a computer together. You're going to break something. You have to be very delicate when building a PC. I'm being serious. If you put in the motherboard too hard, you can end up bending the little small pieces that are in there, and now that motherboard is useless, or that computer chip is useless. So you have to have that delicate skill to be able to do it with, again, preciseness. We don't have to brunt full force it, but being precise, I should say.
Patience.
Patience is a part of that. Patience, and with patience, that's also building your strength.
It was so funny. I lived in HB
Oh
for
man,
That's dope.
again, I'm just going through them. But besides also that too, the other. The other thing I wanted to touch on too is, again, we talked about
Signs?
having the skill. It says signs from signs.
No,
No, not that one.
signs.
Yeah, I'm not
No,
even
like
done.
signs,
Yeah.
like becoming stronger.
No, not yet. That's not even. That's the
Okay.
last topic. Nah,
Oh,
I'm,
okay.
I'm gonna jump into that. I'm gonna jump into that in a second. But
So like
someone brought up earlier. Shouts out to Kundan. Brought up earlier. Yeah, gotta have more patience in the ER. Yeah, a doctor. If you're doing surgeries, the doctor is just not jamming things in there to get stuff out. Shoot, you gotta have a precision of an take from those incisions. Like you need to be super precise. You get one small cut is wrong. I give you another example. Those who end up disarming bombs, they're just not going there full brunt and everything. They gotta know precisely which wire to cut. They ain't cutting all the wires just to get loose. So it takes a certain amount of, again, strength and skill to know how much to have just enough.
That's
But
right.
but going back to earlier, someone brought up, again, being able to assess and figure out certain different type of strengths. All right, my G.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Oh, yeah, do what you gotta do. So the other thing I wanted to talk about too is for my folks out there, there are different places that you can go and figure out like your type, your strengths, your top five strengths. There's also different quizzes for love language. There's ones for particular like your personality, all that stuff. But the one someone brought up earlier, again, shouts out to Kundan, was there's one called the Clifton Strengths Finders or Strength Finders 2.0. You can look it up. There's a book on it. But basically, you get that book and it goes through a myriad of different strengths that's on that database. And in there, from that test, it compiles your top five strengths. And I wanted to share that because I did it a long time ago. Some of those strengths for me still rings true, but and I like where you're going with that too. And I'm gonna jump on what you just said too, or I'm gonna add to what you're saying in the comments too. Is I have my five here. I'm gonna read them off. But ever if you wanted to do the test, yes, there's a certain amount for that one. But you can find other resources out on there to see what your top five strengths are. Whether if it is being more flexible, whether if it's being very conscientious, whether if it's being logical, showing patience. There's a number of them. But it's good to have and really think about so that you can really know what are your strengths. What are the things that you shine in? And that you can bring to either your group, your family, or whoever that you can have as a support. So people will come to you and come for that support, knowing that you can do that. You're a builder in this area. Because that's really how community is made, is that everybody has their particular skill, their strength. And we lean on each other's strengths to help us as a whole be stronger. So everybody and their mama don't have to have the same type of job because we all have different roles that we play. We play to each other's strengths. So from this test, I'm gonna just share with y'all the five of my top five, and I did this what maybe about 7, maybe 8 years ago, and I'm gonna still see some of them ring true to me, but I'm gonna share them with y'all, and then I'm gonna define them at least the way that it makes sense to me, and then from there we're gonna build on this concept too. You talk about tests, so I'm looking over to the side because I have it up here, so don't mind me. But from the Strength Finder test, my top five strengths, the top one was developer. That's my strength. This top one was developer. The second one was positivity. The third one was intellection. The fourth one is empathy. And then the last one was adaptability. So in this point in time, some of that stuff, especially for me, the first one definitely continues to ring true when it comes to a developer. Like when it comes to developing people, being able to build with people, doing stuff like this, it definitely shows for me that that's one of the top strengths that I have for me. I work with the youth. I really help to build and mold and let them create their own, person and find what that is. So being a developer in that sense, being as a coach, being a counselor, being a guide, I see that again. It's being a top one and it rings true for me. Does this test, is it the end all be all for you to know if that's truly your strength or whatever is your tops? No, it's one of many other resources that you can use to at least have some type of insight. And again, you make sense of it for yourself. If you think it applies, it applies. If it doesn't, then you don't use it at all. It's great resource to have. Now, the second one with positivity, again, I still work on that every single day because there's some days where I'm just like, nah, that ain't the case. But just the idea of being able to see the positive side of other things, being able to notice even if something isn't going well and it's not what you planned, but being able to see the light at the end of that struggle, being able to know that, okay, maybe right now it's not working, but there's another option to something that can actually happen. So being able to have a growth mindset to change and not be stuck when something unfortunate happens or just a circumstance you don't know what could just come up. So just being ready for that. The third one, intellection. And I wish I had the definitions of all the Cliff Finder stuff. I just literally, again, when I come on here, I really don't have many things pre-planned for this. So when somebody thought this up, man, I wish I could just go ahead and go look some of this stuff up. But I think you're gonna need the book to find some of this information. But intellection, in the sense of, again, not just only an intellectual, but just the idea that you like to think. You like to be challenged mentally to look up, find stuff, learn about things. That's really where intellection goes. So it's not saying that you know things, it's just that you like to think about a lot of things. And I will definitely say that does ring true for myself. I do like to think about a lot of things, whether if it's about world issues, whether if it's about learning about more myself, knowledge of self, learning about small things about video games, learning about ways to, again, build up my strength when it comes to physical strength to be healthy, learning other different good habits in particular. So just, again, thinking to think, but to really use it as a mode to learn. But yeah, I said, don't forget you're also hilarious. No, I'm definitely not. And it's funny that you keep saying that, but I do not claim any of that at all. But I would not be remiss to say that there's a point in time where I was like, I could also see myself just being a Buddhist monk, to be honest. Will I be able to have the skill like they do? No. But being able to have the mental fortitude to, again, to endure and really look for a higher purpose with a life of serenity in ways, shape, and form, and just discipline, I could see myself. I could. That's what was funny. I could see myself, but not that in particular. Not no top priest, any of that. No. The other one, empathy. Being able, again, to put yourself in other people's shoes and just be able to see someone else's side of a story, not just only yours. Am I the most perfect person or the greatest person at doing this? No. But I'm able to take that into consideration. I'm able to stop myself at times and think about that. Be like, yo, okay, now how is the other person's responding to what I'm saying? And not even to just downplay or water down what I'm saying just so I can make someone feel comfortable. No, more so it's like, okay, they may have a perspective of this way or they could have a perspective of this way. Just be mindful of how you can bring that and approach that. So then it's more of a reasoning, a building versus a versus. It's like, oh, I say this information, now you're going to come back with another information to discredit my information. It's no, more so like a reasoning, learning why, the reasons of why you like this, why I necessarily don't like that type of food, or I don't agree with that point, but I can see why you've come to that conclusion of a point. So that type of empathy, not just be like, oh, I'm so sad for you. That's what, man, shoot, if that was me, man, I know I feel not sympathy, but being able to know that somebody else has a perspective that could be opposite of yours and you being able to approach that in a good way. Yeah, I said, I'm your top priest. You're hilarious. You're safe from no, none of that stuff. Clergyman type stuff, no, but funny. And then the last one, adaptability. The way I see adaptability, again, really in line with positivity, in the sense of when stuff happens, just being able to change on the fly, being able to go with the flow of life. Since we was talking about is all science, we talk about it comes to the foundation, but really being able to go with the flow of life, not fighting against the tide. And that's how I see adaptability. And in my particular case, using my adaptability in the sense of working with the youth, and at the same time when I freestyle, that's where I really see how am I able to adapt to the crowd, adapt to the people who's there in a circle listening. My freestyles range depending on what place, space, and folks that are there. So me being able to also have that ability to adapt within a freestyle to come up with something off the top in many different areas and spaces. So those were my 5, again, from Clip Finders. This is not a paid ad or any of that type of sort, but this is one of the many tests that you can, again, look up and find, and just think about these skills and see if it applies and if it doesn't, because we're always trying to search and find things that apply to us, that's relatable. Some of it to help us, others to distract us, and others to detract us, to keep us away from moving forward. But if you want to, just look into that, because knowing your strengths and knowing what you're good at, very important, especially again in this market of where we at with jobs and being able to survive in the system. It's very vital that you know your strengths, because that's what's going to differentiate you also from other people. And it's not always about just because it got to be competition, but with jobs, they got to know what you bring, so that, think of it as we playing the game of Tetris. Playing the game of Tetris. And you see there's certain shapes that are coming down. You're not going to pick that shape just because it's your favorite shape. Sometimes you're going to pick the shape because of the fact that it fits to this certain piece. So then after that, you can eliminate this row of blocks. So same thing with a job. They're just not going to pick you because of the fact that they have some type of favoritism towards you. It might help. I know a lot of jobs nowadays, it kind of leans more towards that type of favoritism, or at least knowing the people beforehand, because it's not what you know, but who you know. But in some cases where they needed to fit the job description, they're going to find the person who fits the job description, who's able to fit right where it needs to be. Again, like a Tetris piece, being able to fit, not just because you're the favorite piece, but it's because you fit and you work for what is needed. So it's important to know and have those type of strengths. They're going to take the Pope. Oh, my goodness. No, none of that, okay? None of that, y'all. None of that. But being able to, again, go off of figuring out your physical strength, mental strength, I know psychological strength, as well as we didn't dig into the spiritual strength, but also the strength of building a community. This word in itself is, for the most part, people see it as a, lack of better words, positive thing. And so much to be said. And a lot of the stuff that is said, it really does exude that energy of being powerful, being uplifting in that sense. As well as, I also use the word strength to replace the word weak, because as being an MC and a person who likes words and messing with many different meanings and stuff of words, when I look at the word week, and I mean week, I'm talking about the days of the week, it made me want to rephrase week and say strength, because I don't want you to have those days. I don't want you to feel weak. I want you to feel strong. So then I would say strength. So have a good strength, so that you're strengthened throughout the week and not weakened throughout the week. Yes, I'm playing with words, but basically it's just to say stay strong. That's really more so why I use the word strength for that particular case. But yes, in short, strength is important. Mental strength, physical strength, psychological strength, spiritual strength, being able to build and have a foundation, all of that. It's super important. Now, let me move to the last portion of today's, or I should say tonight's show, and then, get this cracking so we can head out. I want to talk about the last question, or I should even just say the last phrase of tonight, which is signs you are becoming stronger. So we just going to be talking about specific signs or ways that you can notice that you are becoming stronger. I'm also going to employ Google's help on this, but I'm going to talk about some of my own signs that I've noticed when either I've gotten stronger or just overall when someone is getting stronger. But if y'all have some that y'all want to throw down and put in the comments, please do share. Put them in the comments as I'm doing that. And I'm also talking to y'all that's watching this later, whether on Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, wherever this gets placed. All of y'all. So let's see. So as I pop that one in there, one of the signs that you are becoming stronger, of course, from a physical sense, is you are able to withstand more weight than you previously did. So from the conditioning of, in this case, bodybuilding or working out, you are able to go past some of your personal records of picking up certain particular weights so that you're able to withstand more. But also, again, in the mental sense of beforehand, certain things, phrases, and people would either annoy you, trigger you, get under your skin, or be able to throw you off of your game. They're not able to do that anymore because your threshold of your ability to withstand those type of annoyances has went up. So it's going to take a lot more of effort on their part to try to get a reaction out of you. So that's one of the signs that you're becoming stronger, that you are able to withstand more than you previously have. Now, another sign, before I start reading some of the signs on here from Google, and I will answer your question in a second too. The second one of a sign that you're becoming stronger is your ability to stand up for yourself. You're like, okay, what do you mean the ability to stand up for yourself? So being able to not only just say no, but build your boundary. Because most folks take that for granted. Is because they don't want, again, people to feel uncomfortable, but at their own expense. So being able to learn how to set your boundary is another sign that you're becoming stronger, and not a boundary in the sense of how it is being commercialized right now, especially on the side for when men are speaking about their boundaries. There's some for women as well, and all folks of however you want to put it. But knowing that this is how much, again, I can withstand, and you got to respect that. And if you don't respect that, then, it's not a good match. That's another way. That's another sign that you're becoming stronger. So, one, you're able to withstand more than you usually have. Two, being able to set boundaries. It's another way that you're becoming stronger. It's because you're standing up, being able to speak for yourself. Now, answer your question. When's my last show? Specifically, I don't know the date, but I will say the last show will be probably the last week in December. So sometime in December will be my last show. If I have my other phone, it's somewhere in here, but I'm not going to grab it right now. But if I had my other phone, I would just quickly just Look up because I saved the date. And I think it will be the 23rd episode will be the last one. So right now we're on 11. So we got about a few, 12, 11 more or so episodes after this one's done. That's going to be it. I think it's 23. It might be 22. Don't quote me on it. But just know, somewhere in December is going to be the last show. And yes, the last, y'all. So again, it's the final season. So that's it. Nah, I'm not going to go live for Christmas. Nah, I don't think it's Christmas. I don't think Christmas time I'm going live. Again, it's a Wednesday. I don't know what Wednesday it is. I don't know what Wednesday it is. But again, I can check it another time. Getting back into the other signs. Another sign that you're becoming stronger is you become more confident in what you do. And what I mean by that is, again, you've worked on a skill. And then also this can lead to another one I'm going to say after it. You've worked on a skill to a point where now you have the confidence to either display it or be able to help and support somebody else with that skill. So, for example, for me, one of those skills, and I was doing it, this was like years ago when I really start to notice and then actually step into it a lot more, was because we talk about, again, shouts out to hip hop, 50 years, it's freestyling. That was something that I practiced so much in high school. I would come home, do certain amounts, almost up to an hour, if not more, of just freestyling every day. And if it wasn't every day, it was at least 5 times a week, some way, shape, and form. And it got to a point where in college, there's some certain folks that didn't know how to freestyle at all. I literally would just go through and it came to a point that we would practice freestyling together. I ended up becoming, again, the developer, that person that was helping and guiding folks through the art of freestyling, which to me is a spiritual act in a sense, being able to display yourself wholeheartedly, your soul of what you're saying, because you don't know what you're going to say. So it's you. It's you. It's really you that's saying and freestyling and doing all this stuff. But I know when I became very good at freestyling is when I was able to support and walk people through it, have certain tips and tricks to share, and to be able to like, oh yeah, try this. This might actually work. And because I've done all of it. And one of the testaments to that too, and shouts out to Lyricology 101, is when I went on to his live a few times. There is a point where I showed him a method that I used that was helping me to create synthesis. And now I end up coining it, but he coins it a different term, but I coined it the loop method, which is basically kind of almost the same thing with the DJs doing the turntables, and they got into creating the cipher and a loop on that particular point. But it's a loop method where I would take the first word from the previous bar and use it as the first word for the next one. So, for example, if I were to say, anything is more likely than what you see what I can do when I'm writing up these dreams to another star in space on this atlas. At last, I can rest when I'm done. I go past this. Pass it like it was another drab or a drill. Drill it into your mind till you understand the will. The will to survive is more from the hunger. The hunger from the beast makes me feel much stronger. And I didn't even plan on doing that with the word stronger. But you see, that method in itself of just looping and taking a previous word and putting it in as the first word for the next sentence was just one of the methods that I would come up. And this was just from freestyling. So to round it out, I became more confident in my freestyling as I practiced. And now for me to be able to display it and show it to people, and then especially folks that I admired and I had mad respect for, that's where I was like, yo, I've gotten a lot better at freestyling. Now I can share this with folks. So let me do it. They say, you went to lyric college too? Yeah, man. Shouts out to Lyricology 101 again, man. Andre's a dope brother, man. He's also sick on the mic himself, but he breaks it down even in more specific details than I do. But that's my example of, again, knowing when you've become stronger. Another example, before I start reading some of these from Google, is on top of the confidence, you also know you're becoming stronger is when it becomes a part of your lifestyle. And what I mean by that is consistency. So that's how you know that you also become stronger, is that now you're consistently putting in the work to do it. Because some people know it's hard not only just to work out and exercise. People, it's hard to work on a skill that not only that you like, but there's going to be times where you don't want to do it at all. But being able to have the capacity to push through and consistently drive through, whether if it was a good day, but wherever you want to coin it or say, it shows that the effort that you are putting in is helping you build and become a better version of yourself, becoming stronger. So being able to show that consistency. So of course, the first one, I'm learning how to recap stuff. You're able to withstand things that you previously couldn't. So whether it's lifting weights, things of that sort. The second one is being able to set boundaries, whether if it's a yes or a no, whether if it's knowing what you need and what you don't need, and speaking up for yourself. Third one, being able to show confidence in that particular skill, whatever it is. Shouts out to Vlad. What's going on, brother? Peace and love. What's the word? So being able to have the confidence in that skill. And then lastly, right now, until I get to more of them, is, again, having the consistency to continue to build that skill. So you are growing stronger in a sense. That's another sign. Now I'm going to switch over here, and we're in hackspirit.com. And the headline is showing 13 signs you're actually becoming a better and stronger person. So we're going to go through these ones, and we're also going to talk through some of these here. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while, man. I know you've been working and getting to all your stuff, whether you're still in school and all of the degrees that you get in, man. So shouts to you, man. Much love to you, Vlad. Another brother that I got to build the freestyle skill off of too, but also just really chop it up on just real life stuff. So appreciate you, brother. But 13 signs you're actually becoming a better and stronger person. This is per, again, hackspirit.com. It's trying to hack your spirit. Be careful. You don't want your spirit being hacked. But the first one they say is you start embracing change. I can dig that. So being able to know that things are not always going to stay the same, that they inevitably are going to change. And now you embrace that. And instead of you fearing it, being extremely anxious about it or resistant to it, you actually bring it in on. You bring it on as a challenge. And on that journey, as you're being able to be now more insightful of, okay, that change is going to come, you start to prepare yourself, and then you are able to welcome it rather than push it away. So I like that. Okay. You started embracing change is one of them. It says restarting school this month. Handle your business, man. Ooh, yeah, this is another big one. I like it. So the second one they have on here is you're beginning to take responsibility for yourself. That is true. With great power comes great responsibility. I know there's the longer quote to that, but it definitely rings true. Once you start taking on more responsibility, that's another sign that you are becoming not only a better person, but you're becoming stronger because you're taking on more rather than what you had before. Bars. I'm just playing. But I like that one. All right, another one. You stop putting band-aids on situations. Hmm. So instead of not addressing what you need and not addressing the root of certain situations, you continue to just let things fly. So learning how to address those problems, challenges, issues, and situations straight up where you need to shows that you are becoming a stronger person. Because again, cut ties with all that does not apply and that is holding you back. When you think about a flower, you think of the thorns. There's many metaphors that you can use for this. But when something is not serving you, it's holding you back. And the more you held back by things, the harder for you to push forward with other stuff. Yes, you got to rip off those band-aids and you got to get deeper down to the true root and the true core of what the situation, the issue, challenge is. And when you do that and you get down to that, that's how you start to improve and you show that you're becoming a stronger person. I like it. I like it. I like it. Another one, it says you start chasing goals. You start even setting goals. I should say not even chasing goals just yet. You start setting goals. Because some people can say that they're going to do this and do that, but set it in a sense of using SMART goals. I know people use that acronym a number of times, SMART goals. Being able to, now I have to end up looking it up. It's being specific. I ain't even have to, now I'm not looking it up. You have to be specific. It has to be manageable. The A is attainable. R, it has to be realistic, and then team, timely, or time bound. However, so learning how to really set goals or set SMART goals is another way and another sign that you're becoming stronger. It says living by yourself will force that lesson of responsibility on you. That is true too. Yeah, it is. But you start chasing goals as well as you start setting SMART goals. And another one, you're no longer defensive. Again, the early one, you're able to withstand more than you had before. You're able to look at that and see that for people to really, truly either get under your skin or try to throw you off your game, you no longer have to be defensive in those certain areas. Again, and you learn to be the quote unquote bigger person in this particular case. Sometimes I do have my gripes with that, but that's part of your ego speaking. When it's like, why do I have to be the one to do this? Shouldn't they be able to see it as well too? But that's where you learn that sometimes you don't sweat those small things. And that ultimately, the more that you take the power away from those type of certain situations, you're able to allocate and put more energy to what you want. Not continue to bicker and get mad at what other people are saying or doing or why you feel like you got played in a certain situation, which I'm not saying don't get played. Of course, stand your ground. But if you know that it's going to be more of a problem if you keep pursuing instead of just saying your piece and piecing out, that's it right there. It says real talk, when you've accepted yourself and you're ready to grow, you don't need to be defensive. Yeah, I know you're on there. Yes, last round in 8 Mile. That's true. Wise words from the, oh my goodness. See, look it. Off the top of my head, they even have it right here. It says you started setting boundaries. That was my second thing. Again, setting boundaries. That's how you know you're growing. I like that. This one's pretty hard for other people that they have on here. This next one I'm going to talk about. I'm still working on those things, but I've gotten a lot better at it. But number 8, that says you've stopped caring about what everyone else thinks. That's another sign to show that you're becoming a stronger person, and in this article sends to as well as a better person. Not caring what everybody's going to say about your art. Not caring about what somebody comments about what you do. So every critic speaks what they often repeat. Cycles never change when they're often asleep. Bragging about the lies, y'all quickly start wishing. Like Cat Williams said, I guess y'all not pimping. So letting the critics literally just talk what they talk because they haven't had that lived experience of what it is. So in a sense, the pimping is you haven't even really went through it to know what's going on. So why should I, again, take my time and energy to address you when you haven't necessarily went through that? And it's not even to put yourself at a higher pedestal as somebody and to say and have that ego and be like, oh yeah, you haven't went through this, so you don't know what you talk about. Again, being able to do it from what we talked about, how to do it earlier. Again, approaching it in a place of humility, speaking your point, and then peacing out. Being able to get your point across and letting them know. I appreciate what you said, but at the same time, have you been able to experience these things for yourself before? If not, try it out. And then just leave the conversation there. You ain't even got to go no further. You don't need to be petty. You don't need to do any of that other type of additional stuff. What really truly matters is, are you achieving the goals you want, as well as are you slowly each day becoming a better version of yourself? Is it helping to add towards your growth and your strength? If it does that, then by all many means, keep doing it. Don't always necessarily worry about what everybody else is doing, because you're not here to service and serve everybody's particular whim. Everybody's not going to like you. You're not going to be able to get 100%, 5-star rating from every single person. So work on what works for you, and then you will see those people will come and they will admire the work that you already do, so that they already will admire you as a person, and they will understand where you're coming from, versus those from the outside looking in wanting to, again, impose and attack that. So learning to not care about what other people think about you when you know what path you want to take. It says, I feel you should care, but it shouldn't stop you from doing you. So that's basically what it is. Of course, you're going to still want people's constructive criticism, but being able to go back to what we talked about earlier, set that boundary of when to not care, when to stop caring about what's being said. If it's not nothing that can help you build as a person, because as a community, that's what we do. We have to build, we build together. So of course I want to get an outside person's perspective on stuff. And if I feel that is something that will help improve myself, I'm going to take it. I'm going to use it. I'm going to apply it and see if it actually truly works. But if it's something that, again, is just saying, oh yeah, that's whack, or yeah, nah, it's because you did it this way, that's why you're terrible. If you know that it's not constructive in a way, again, construct to build. If it's not helping you to build, then there's no reason for you to even take it as, again, it's a grain of salt. It's like, okay, that person doesn't necessarily have nothing for me to really build off of. All right, let me go to the next person if you want it. If you don't, you keep pushing and pressing forward. I don't know, there's been a number of people who have shared things with me, and I've learned to take it in, understand what it means for me, and then go back, apply it, and I'm like, yo, that actually worked. Or I'm like, it didn't necessarily work for me, but I really appreciated what they said and what they were able to talk about from their own lived experience. So I'm like, okay, cool, it didn't work, but I appreciate it. Or again, you notice. So you know when it's intentionally meant to help you versus to bring you down. So that's the line. I wouldn't even necessarily say that, Vlad. I wouldn't say to just throw out the negativity. It's to learn how to balance all of that out, because ultimately this life would be out of balance if there is no such thing. If we didn't have both. So we can't get rid of one or the other. It's always going to be there. But to be able to put it all together and to get a well-balanced idea of that. For me, again, I talk about the law of neutrality. So everything in his life starts off neutral. The only time that it becomes, whether we say negative or positive, and this, again, is my perspective, is when you put your intent into it. So that can end up coming to be with, whether that's technology, whether that is food, whether that is information, all of that stuff. It starts off neutral until somebody puts their intention behind that. That's where we start talking about the negative and the positive, or the this side and that side, and the multitude of sides. But the balance of everything, the wholeness. Shouts out to Kundan, and shouts out to my brother, artist FMC. The wholeness of all of this together is what also helps you to build. I don't want to throw out the negative. There's going to be days where I know I'm not going to have a good day. But if I know that I can bring myself back to that wholeness, I can use that negative experience as a stepping stone and a lesson to become better, to become stronger. If I decided, yo, just because that negative thing happened to me, I'm just going to exit out my mind, I've already lost. That's why they say taking an L. If I take that L and I don't even give and grab a lesson from it, then really, why would I even really care so much more about the positive as well? I can't be one-sided always on stuff. You're gonna lean more towards something, but that's the whole idea of there's comedic laws on this, but I'm not gonna get too much into all the comedic laws and things. But let me see you up in here, Kundan. I will add you in here. Depending on the context, your strengths are weaknesses, your weaknesses are strengths. Yes. Man, shouts out to you too, my G over here, Sergio. Much love, my man. How you doing, my man? What's the word?
Hey, what's
What's
up?
going on,
I'm just
Kundan?
I'm just coming home from my neighbor's house. Yeah,
Got you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
uh,
still going through a couple more examples of signs you are becoming stronger, and then just speaking my own either personal bouts with this or responding to folks' comments. So another one,
oh, I see.
we just
Yeah,
go ahead.
my mom passed away yesterday.
I am sorry to,
Yeah,
hear about that. My condolences. I'm sending you love, the
thank
energy, and
you. Yeah.
all of that strength to you, because again, you are, especially from the what's the word Wednesdays, and just again meeting you the first time, you are one of the builders that I appreciate very much, because again, you
Mm,
don't have to come and give your time, but you do, and you share so much that's again valuable not only for me but also for the community at large who will come back and either watch this or there. So we
mm-hmm.
want to send you our love and send you everything right there.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Vlad, go ahead. Much love, man. We'll catch up soon. Thank you for coming through, though.
Yeah,
And it takes a lot of strength to even share stuff like that sometimes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. She she passed away on the eighth day of the eighth month of the year. So August
Mm,
8th. That's very significant for me because August 8th is the anniversary of the quadruple eight
yeah.
democracy revolution in my country of origin, Myanmar.
Mm,
So I was almost like, I think that's no coincidence. Yeah,
nope.
yeah,
Nope.
that's she kind of chose that day, I think. Oh, her soul dead.
Mm,
Yeah,
man. So now that makes me even think of, I don't know why the whole concept, we always say solar return, but like her soul returned.
yeah, yeah. Because she was in India when she died, and she
Mm,
really wanted to go back to Burma all this time. So, but the sickness kept getting worse, so she had to stay
yeah.
and keep getting treated. Yeah,
Understood. Again, sending you energy, healing energy, love, all of those things to you and the
yeah,
family.
yeah. Thank you.
But yes, and while you are hanging out and doing that too, I'm gonna do a few more, and then I want your thoughts, if you of course want to share on the topic. We're on the last one, but another
Yeah,
one we just talked about earlier, y'all. Number 9 on here says you're able to let go of what doesn't serve you. So we was already talking about, all right, when do you not only set those boundaries, or when do you stop caring of what people think? If it's something that's not serving you and it's not helping you, then that's where again it's not letting you become and grow to become stronger in a better person. So if it doesn't serve you, you let go. I'm not saying you become the extreme authoritarian and be like, oh, you didn't give me no chips, all right, get out my life. Like, no, in realistic bounds. If you're telling yourself that you want to get this certain type of job, you want to become this certain type of person, you want to study more, you want to again get better at a skill, and you have somebody on the outside that could be close to you, can be a close friend, it could be a family member, it could be somebody that you're just getting to know, and they decide to go against you and become, for the lack of better words, devil's advocate, but in a sense of a way to stop your growth, that's a point where you're going to need to just figure out, is this relationship still worth going, or again, loving someone from a distance. Because it's not serving or helping you. If you trying to learn how to eat healthy and they keep bringing you a box of donuts and they keep bringing you all different types of junk food and not food that necessarily will help you meet your goals of eating healthier, you need to have a conversation. And if they're not willing to, again, understand that, got to go. Another one, it says, number 10, you become comfortable outside of your comfort zone. So I know that there are different diagrams. You can look them up on Google, all over different places, but there's different types of zones. Like there's a zone of learning, there's your comfort zone, then there is the danger zone, there is your learning zone. But this one, when you know that you're becoming stronger, is you learn how to live in those uncomfortable moments so that you can see and find that growth. And I'm not talking about to an extreme of you've never been on a plane before, but now you're about to go skydiving. Now that's a danger zone. That's too far. You haven't even took the initial steps. So becoming better isn't a giant leap forward. It's incremental steps. Learning how to break different habits, learning how to grow certain habits. It takes steps. You are not going to master it in one giant leap. You go day by day, sometimes even minute by minute for some folks, if it's learning how to grow your attention, to grow your concentration, to grow meditation wise, sitting in meditation for certain minutes. So you're not going to become a master at it after one use. That's over time. So incremental steps. But you become comfortable being outside of the comfort zone. So you are comfortable with being uncomfortable. Another one. You're kind to yourself.
There's also speaking of the zones,
Yes.
there is I don't know if you've heard of the Gay Hendricks, or is it Gary Hendricks? Yes, the 4 zones. The zone of incompetence, the zone of competence,
Yes.
the zone of excellence, and then finally the zone of genius.
Oh, okay. No, I thought I did. There was another one that used the first 2 words very similar, where it was I have it up here. There it is. It is it's not there anymore. But it's the competencies. There we go. I remember we talked it was the competencies a long while back. It's like
Yeah.
the unconscious incompetent, then it's the unconscious, then it's the conscious incompetent, then it's the conscious competent, and then it's the unconscious competent. Like that type of one.
Mhm.
But the one that you speak about, no, I thought I did, but no, I don't know about that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
But okay, yes. Another one, and we had 2 more, and then after that we rounding this out. Another one that says that you're kind to yourself. So basically, you love on yourself, but not in the sense of that you're just patronizing yourself. That you're just like, oh yeah, it's okay, you can't do that because of this, and that. Not crippling, but in a sense of if you didn't get to that particular goal that you wanted to do that day, you don't call yourself stupid. You don't put yourself down. You don't say things that will deter you from even wanting to try the next day. More so, you be like, I understand I didn't get to it. Now I'm going to set it as twice as more as a priority tomorrow to do. And when I set it twice as much, tomorrow is a priority, I want to try 10 more percent at it. I want to go 10 more percent harder at what it was. And it's not even to just be like, I'm going to make up for yesterday, but then just to recommit. Learning how to recommit yourself to things when you're being kind to yourself. Because, we can be too kind to a point where then after that, we go back at the starting level. And now we got to start back all over.
Mhm.
Or again,
Yeah.
you just doubt you. Then you beat yourself up so much to a point that now you're doubting yourself at every step and move. And be like, man, like, can I even do this anymore? Because last time I only made it to 3 days. I don't even think I can get past 3 days. And then that's when the fixed mindset starts to come in, and then you're not growing out beyond that. So
Hmm.
love on yourself, be kind to yourself, but also be disciplined in a sense to know that you can still do it.
Yeah.
I missed the day, but we can have a better tomorrow.
Also, like I was saying, depending on the context of the situation, your strengths can be your weaknesses, and then your weaknesses can become your strengths too.
Yes. That's in the inverse situation.
Yeah.
But to also to add to you to what you're saying on that is the main part of that too is just to know the importance of those things, to be aware of
Mm.
that stuff. Because if you're not
Yeah.
even aware of what you're good at or what you're not good at, then it makes it harder for not only folks to know what your part is going to be if you're again in a group or you're building with a community, but
Yeah.
also you don't even know what you're gonna do or what you can bring or what you can say. And a lot of us look at it with our strengths and weaknesses. We look at it in the sense of course, what is our for me, I say life mission. For other people is, what do they see doing for the rest of their life? So their goals, their career. And if you're not able to sit with yourself and know your strengths and your weaknesses, aka your areas of growth,
Hmm.
then you're not helping yourself out at all. So then you're going to be stumbling, which a lot of us do. We stumble through life. That's how we kind of also randomly pick up on key learned experiences or learned lessons. But you don't want to stumble all the way through life without even knowing any of this stuff. And when you could have been like, yo, I could have been had this back in high school or in this area, instead of now I'm relearning or I'm learning this in my 40s. And not even to downplay age in a sense too, not even to downplay that, but because of the system that we're in, a lot of us, and because we do have a time limit. I don't know what journey you on or what a previous life or things that you experienced or what you came back to have to learn, and you got to go through these trials and errors, but it helps to at least have again a foundation to stand on. So what is my strength? What am I good at? What do I need to learn how to grow in a lot more? Like,
Right. Yeah. The thing is
so
between
I appreciate that point.
strengths and skill.
Wait, you're breaking up a little bit. Say that one more time. I think you did cut out.
Strengths and skills and talents.
Oh, you turned on your camera. Try that one more time. Now I can hear you.
Oh, what what do you think is the difference between strengths and skills and talents?
Okay. All right. With strengths, and this is my it is. So you said strengths, skills, and talents.
Yeah. Hmm.
So strengths, again, there's something that you can grow at. So a lot of things can become a strength for you if you know how to, again, grow it. When it comes to skill, some of us already have an innate thing. For me, I think of skills, but skills can also be grown upon. But some of it you can have already a threshold that's higher that sometimes you can't go past. So it's almost there's a limiter. So if I'm thinking of, I like video game references. So I'm in a video game and I know that for this particular build, if I'm a mage, I know that my intellection can be at the highest versus if it was a swords person, their intellection is like maxed out at maybe 80. I can go up to like 120. That's what I think about when it comes to a skill. Now, talents, that's something to me also is just innately there. That it's just you have it without even having to practice or do anything. It's just your talent.
Hmm.
But that's my setup for the differences of all of
Yeah, in the
those.
strengths finder, they're saying that technically, like when you read the book, there's a book and there's also the test.
Yeah.
When you read the book, they tell you that technically those are actually talents, not strengths. They're innate talents that, if you build upon them, become strengths. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I know you weren't here earlier, but I did take the test a long while ago, and I shared my 5 earlier with everyone. But
Oh
I'll
yeah.
reshare. I'll reshare it just for you, and then again we'll continue and end out for the show. But the ones that
Mm-hmm.
I got from when I took the test years ago, the first one I got was a developer. The
Mm-hmm.
second one was positivity.
Right. Yeah.
The third one was intellection. The fourth one was empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fifth one was adaptability.
Oh yeah. 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 We have those two in common: adaptability and positivity. Yeah. And then my other three were, I think, connectedness,
Okay.
futuristic, and
Mm-hmm.
and I forgot the fifth one, but yeah. So yeah, that was yeah.
Again, it's a
What
good
is
resource.
yeah yeah? What's intellection?
So intellection, from how I remember it, but I'm also using my own interpretation of it. Intellection is more so the idea of that you like to think about how you think
Oh
about
yeah.
things.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that you are fully knowledgeable of all of this stuff, but you like to think about the knowledge and things that you come across.
Oh,
And you
so it's
just,
like
it's just,
thinking about thinking. Yeah.
yes. So just to let y'all know, I don't know everything. I for sure don't. So I just like to think about a lot of this stuff. I like to come
Mm.
across folks and we build on this stuff. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
I'm not knowledgeable in certain areas, but I just know that intellection skill. I like to think about a lot of stuff, and I like to think about it just so I can get an idea and think more. So metacognition, if y'all know some metacognition, I like to think about
Yeah.
what I think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That goes along well with the developer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you build upon it, right? Like,
So there. So for
yeah.
me, I know they say that your top two rarely change. If not, those are just already set in stone.
Yeah.
Your bottom three are the ones that can swap over time.
Mm-hmm.
But so for sure, the developer and positivity, those are the ones that are top two. So they're already there. But yeah, the more and more that I get
Oh,
deeper into a lot of stuff, it makes sense.
yeah. Oh, I remember my fifth one now. It's ideation. Like,
Mm.
yeah. And
Ideation
that
in what
goes,
sense?
it's the ability to like generate ideas, like to keep coming up with new ideas.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
yeah.
It's very true
Yeah.
because you definitely have that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I keep coming up with the mental models, and all these diagrams and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
It
right.
goes along well with the futuristic too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Some of these really pair well with each other. They rub up on each other.
And it makes sense. That's what it is. They're all
Yeah.
there really to
Right.
build off of each other. So a lot of your skills, you can always find commonalities between the stuff where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Almost in anything.
Hmm.
But some of them are more obvious than others.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I got these last two, and then after that, I'm gonna round it out and also just give you your time to also
Okay.
just add your pieces. But another one from this website again, I got it from hackspirit.com of other areas or ways that you're becoming stronger besides the 4 that I talked about earlier. Number 12, it says you're choosing your friends wisely. So
Mhm.
again, you've learned how to vet. Again, I mean, not again, like I already talked about it. You learn how to vet and to choose people again that will help you build and become a better person because of the fact that they may be displaying certain type of skills or strengths that you want to learn and know about.
Mhm.
Again, let's say again, but misery loves company. So if misery is also looking for people that also is just like them so that they can be more miserable together, strength loves company. So you want to find people that's going to bring you up and help you become stronger. So some people use it in the sense of You're looking to find people that are better than you. One of my
Mm-hmm.
homies also put it in a sense of, he's like, I'm glad that when I look at it, I'm the wackest rapper I know
Mm-hmm.
within like a friend group. And for me, I'm looking at him like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, when it comes to your poetry and how you write, I say you vicious. Like, you have such a wonderful way of how you put your words and things together that to me you're extremely dope on what you do. But the way he framed it is because of the fact that he sees himself as the wackest or the weakest, not weakest, but the wackest of rappers that he knows in the group of people he knows, is that then this must be a really dope group of individuals if it says that you the wackest one in there.
Oh yeah. Huh.
So again, learning how to choose your friends wisely. So basically putting yourself in a group of folks that you know, again, you guys are all going to build
Yeah.
off of each other. You want to call
I
yourself the
think
weakest link,
somebody
whatever, but
think another way of putting that is uh, don't be the smartest person in the room, something like that.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. Thank you for, yeah. I knew that one was down there
yeah,
somewhere in my brain.
yeah,
Thank you. Exactly.
yeah.
Uh, and the last one they have on this page, number 13, it says, you feel more in control of your life.
Mm,
I agree with this one wholeheartedly. Once you start to take back control in your life, you start to feel a lot more stronger.
mm,
Knowing that, again, and if y'all don't know, I'm gonna say it now. The only person, the only thing that you have control over is you and the actions that you take. I cannot
mm,
control what Kundan could say. We can have influences, but I cannot control what Kundan's gonna say. I can't control how the weather is going to be. It randomly started raining today. It was sunny, then it got cloudy. It started raining. It was humid. I can't control the weather. I can't control if my lights get turned off or not. But once you're able to know what you are in control of, which is yourself and the decisions that you make, you start to take back that sense of your strength. At least
mhm,
that's how I'm interpreting this last one, is you feel more in control of your life.
mhm. Yeah, I think that's how some people explain boundaries. Like boundaries is not telling someone what they can or cannot do. It's more about if you do this or if you say this, then I'll exit the room or I will move out. It's about
Yes,
like what you're gonna do in response. So
yes,
that way you have the control. Like yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yes. Now, before I let Kundan speak a bit more, or we get to the wrap up, however it is, I'm gonna go back again for all my folks who like to come in later and you're like, okay, what did you talk about? These were the ones that I came out and we were saying. So the first one off of the one I said by myself was being able to withstand. So signs that you're becoming stronger. One of them is you're able to withstand more that you did previously, whether this was working out or whether this is the threshold of people trying to annoy and bug you. Now it's going to take them even longer because now you know how to handle this stuff. The second one is now, the second one I remember, it's not coming back to mind. It'll pop back in there. Oh, yeah. The second one is, again, learning how to speak up for yourself, setting boundaries. That was the second one that I spoke about. So, learning how to set those boundaries and know when enough is enough. Three, being able to be confident in what you do. So, whatever that skill is. So, that's how you know you become stronger. So confident to a point where you're able to teach that skill or you're able to support with the skill in some way, shape, and form. The fourth one, being consistent with doing those things. So
Mm,
knowing that even if it's hard and if it's difficult and wanting to give up and quit, but being able to have the discipline to know if I keep pushing forward,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make something out of this. This is going to make me much stronger if I do. Consistency. And
Yeah.
then the ones on here, you start to embrace change. You begin to take responsibility for yourself. You stop putting band-aids on situations. So you attack the root and the core issue head on. You start chasing goals, which I also said you start setting SMART goals, which is specific, is it measurable? I changed the M this time. Measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. You start to set and chase those goals.
Mm-hmm.
You're no longer defensive. You are learning to be the bigger person. You start setting boundaries. We already talked about it. You stopped caring about what other people or everyone else thinks. You're able to let
Mm-hmm.
go of what doesn't serve you. You're becoming comfortable outside of your comfort zone. You're kind to yourself, so you start loving more on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're choosing your friends wisely. And then lastly, you feel more in control of your life. Now, those are multiple signs that you're becoming stronger or a better person. There are many more signs, but those are just a few, whether from myself, hackspirit.com, as well as Kundan, adding in.
Yeah. I'm just laughing at the comment by Chicken and Beef. I had to go get my folding chair, my secret power strength. So if you have you watched the Alabama video, bro? If you watch the
Of
video
course.
of the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Alabama
yeah,
girl,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, then you get the reference. Yeah.
Why are we talking still
Um,
about the whole Montgomery brawl? My goodness. Man, there's people
people
on there just
are
going
still
in.
now. There are so many. Now there's so many memes. There are videos. There are music video. There's even a music video now, and there's even a reenactment where like they're reenacting it by the swimming pool. Like there's yeah, there's songs about it now. It's a whole thing. Like
this, this is what happens when things go viral and people get their hands on it. Their intentions for what it could mean go everywhere. It's a wonderful thing, while at the same time, it is a terrible thing. Because then
yeah,
it just changes the fabric of the whole situation. I get it, but
yeah, yeah. That's the duality I was talking about earlier. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, and some people like are happy about it because that very dock used to be where like enslaved Africans were brought in on that dock.
Mm,
So people
mm,
feel a lot of like catharsis because they feel a sense of justice with what happened. Like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That was an exhibition of
Exhibition
strength.
is
If
physical
we
strength,
wanna, if we
physical
wanna turn,
strength, I guess.
yes, of course, oh my god, of course, to stretch everything to also fit the topic. You are hilarious. All of y'all are hilarious to start thinking and doing stuff like that. Again, I've said it multiple times, but yeah, y'all keep coming up with these things, man. I swear, and it still applies. I'm telling you, see, Kuna,
Yeah,
look, you can really, if you really trying to push the envelope on something, you can make almost anything that you think wouldn't make sense and apply actually makes sense and apply. Because
yeah,
guess what? That's why lawyers are a thing.
yeah, yeah.
uh,
It's
but yeah, Kunin, do you have any other pieces you want to add before I start wrapping up the show? This don't have to be a wrap up before we do a wrap up, but is there anything else you want to add to
yeah,
either
yeah.
strength or signs that
I
you're
think
becoming stronger?
having stronger boundaries is also another sign of becoming stronger, right?
Yeah.
Because there's this funny saying, right? Uh, it's
Okay.
become sort of another meme, right? Where they say uh before you like diagnose yourself with uh low self-esteem,
Yeah.
Make sure you're not surrounded by assholes.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Now
Yeah.
that look at it like that way, but
So
okay.
right. So that's another way of looking at what I said earlier, right? When I said, depending on the context, your strength can become a weakness, right? So if there are people around you, for example, does not value being expressive,
Yeah.
right? Being creative, being expressive, then they will start oppressing you for that, right? Then, so then suddenly it becomes a weakness, right?
Yeah.
Uh, um, but conversely, your weakness can also be a strength. There's a really good book on the Enneagram called Enneagram for Black Liberation
Mm.
by Chichi Ogoram. And she's a black woman who was schooled and she was educated by the Narrative Enneagram Institute, actual like original founder, Oscar Ichazo, who was Bolivian Japanese,
Okay.
right? So a lot of the
Okay.
other Enneagram schools are very whitewashed, very colonized, and doesn't even acknowledge the founder, you know. Uh, so, anyways, she flips the whole narrative and is closer to how Ichazo intended, where the Enneagram was never meant to be a personality test. It was meant to be a documentation of your ego defenses, right?
Yes.
So in that book, Agoram uses similar language. Instead of saying ego defense, she says armor, which is a lot more colloquial, right? A lot more relatable, right?
Yeah.
To say armor. And so your armor, she said that as black and brown and indigenous people, we're not supposed to take off our armor. Like our armor is actually our strength, right? They're not. Uh, so especially in mixed spaces where there are also white people or people at the center, like that armor keeps us safe.
Yeah.
The issue is that when you start confusing your armor for your identity,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it becomes a weakness for you, where you think you are the armor when you're so much more, you know.
Mm. Mm.
So each of the nine Enneagram types are basically nine different types of armor.
There it is, y'all.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I can dig that. And again, like I
Yeah.
said, every time Kundan comes in, got you a book recommendation ready to go. Tell that one more time, Kundan, one more time.
It's called the Enneagram for Black Liberation. Yeah. Yeah. And I also highly recommend looking up the actual like original Japanese version of the Enneagram diagram, right?
Okay.
Uh, and it's all written in Japanese with English translations.
Okay.
And you notice that it's so very different from the whitewashed mainstream version where it's not flattering at all. Like each of these, like, at least on face value, you only when you go deeper you see the nuance, where it's like these are actually both strengths and weaknesses simultaneously,
Yeah.
depending on the context and
Right.
depending on how balanced you are. Yeah,
Like you said, double-edged sword.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So, like, like for example, like the type three is the achiever, right? Uh, but when you look at the Ichazu version, it's more like type three is like it just says go. So in Japanese, that actually means like the go 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 energy, where it's like uh, that hustle, hustle mentality, where you and so people who are type three are people who were praised for their achievements, but then they were not loved whenever they did not achieve, whenever they failed. So now they
Mm.
think, so now success becomes their armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, that's like an example. And then type six is the coward. So they like to fit in, uh, there's a difference between belonging and fitting in, right?
Yes.
Where in fitting in, you have to contort yourself. Uh, in my type, which is I'm the Enneagram type 9. So in the whitewash version, you see that's the peacemaker. But in
Mm,
the Ichazo version, uh, oh yeah, the Ichazo version simply says sloth, which
sloth.
is,
Oh,
yeah, so basically laziness, right?
yes.
So it's because we're very non-confrontational, right? And it's more of a sort of energy management thing. At least for me, when the way I interpret it, it's more of an energy management issue where I'm so scared of how much energy it takes to confront something
Yes.
that I'd rather go to sleep. That kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I feel it.
yeah,
But definitely, again, y'all check that out. I'm gonna
yeah,
definitely add it to the numerous amount of books that I have still yet to read. But
yeah.
just love collecting things to, again, for knowledge, to think about these things, but to then
Hmm.
dig deeper into them. I'm My plan is there to do so. But
Yeah.
um, with that being said, because I want to make sure I
Oh,
do wrap
another
up.
thing, I just noticed has done something cool because you used to be have to like manually edit like manually splice up your video and put in the label for each of the sections, right? So
Yeah.
that it's easier to go right to that section in the video, right?
Uh huh.
Uh, but now YouTube does it automatically for you. It somehow is able to know what section has to do with what. I was really surprised recently with one of my videos. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
We'll see. I'll give it a try. I am still fine with editing it myself, but it don't take too much. For me, it don't take too much to do it. Probably like at most
right.
at 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Doesn't take
Okay.
that long. But
Yeah.
I appreciate you telling me that.
Yeah.
Uh, with that being said, to wrap up, Kundan, you have
Hmm.
any other things that you would like to wrap up on
Yeah.
what tonight's show was, whether it's strength, any of the topics?
Um, yeah, definitely know your strengths and weaknesses, and also know it not just from a relational, not just from an individualistic place,
Yeah.
but from that relational, communal, contextual place. Like you have to like be aware of the context and really do a journaling practice where like after you know your strengths and weaknesses, you have to do. I think it's important to do a journaling practice and be like, okay, like, but like, what are the contexts in which these strengths can become weaknesses, and then the weaknesses can become strengths, right? What is How does this play relationally, contextually? I think that's really important to ponder, especially as if you're a marginalized person or a racialized person,
Yeah.
uh, or away from the center, like uh, away from so the center and away from the center is more of the language that that author
Center.
uses. Agoram Chichi Ogoram uses in her book Narrative Enneagram. I mean Enneagram for Black Liberation. So the further away from the center you are, the more marginalized you are, right? Uh, and the more you have to be aware of, okay, like when is it safe for me to take off my armor, right?
Yes.
In other words, when is it safe for me to be weak? Where like because we don't always want to be strong or resilient all the time, We want to rest and we want to be free, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And there it is, y'all. With that being said, thank you, Kundan, for coming in. Thank you to Fred Word, Fred Wizard, all of those things. Thank you to everyone that popped in, shared their thoughts and their perspectives. Because again, I appreciate y'all for coming. That is y'all strength. that you provide the support. So thank y'all for being a support to help me continue. Because I will be honest with y'all. I'm gonna be very transparent right now with y'all. I was this close to making a post about not going live today. I just have to be
Oh,
transparent. I was this close. I had it all set, ready. I even put the song on there. And the song was from Kanye West. It was Everything I Am. Talk about here we go again. Like me canceling something again. But that's where the consistency in that part. If I'm going to talk about strength and being stronger, why don't I display it? So,
mhm.
not saying that I don't like coming to see y'all or anything, but there's stuff that happens in life that, again,
Yeah,
pulls your attention elsewhere. So again, shouts out to you, Kundan, for sharing that earlier about your mom, and again, sending the love and respect and the
yeah.
energy to you. So being able
Also,
to
my
withstand
aunt,
that,
like not just my mom, but my aunt, who is not by blood, by my uncle's wife,
yeah,
uh, who lives with us, you know. Uh, she was crossing the street yesterday and she got hit by a school bus.
I did happen to see
So
that.
yeah, and then her left head got injured and was bleeding, and then her right shoulder and arm got broken. So she's still in the hospital right now. Like, so all
Mm,
that, can happen too. Yeah.
again, y'all,
Yeah. Speaking of which, I
persevere.
think even your friends can be your strength sometimes, like
Yes.
especially when you're grieving over the loss of a loved one, or even in a situation like this, because a friend of ours was saying that, hey, it's yes, you can, as far as the medical expenses, our insurance will pay for it, right? But you were saying you can
Mm,
get additional money from, suing the school district or, whoever, like whatever organization is responsible behind this,
yes.
because it turns out my aunt did nothing wrong. So it's the responsibility of the school district, so we can get more like compensation for the injury as well. Like,
Very true.
yeah.
Again, y'all, I guess fun. It's very synchronicitous. The song back here is playing is called That's Life, and learning how to
Oh yeah. Right.
persevere and get through, because there's so many things, the good, the bad, the ugly, but that's a part of life, and learning how to get through it. Just become
Right.
stronger.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
to reiterate, y'all. All right. Thank y'all for coming through. Much love. I'm grateful and appreciative of everyone's time this year. Shouts out to Kundan again and everyone that was able to come on, Freddie, etc. Now, wrap up for myself. When it comes to current events, again, proper preparation prevents poor performance. So please stay aware of what's happening around you and your surroundings and your local news, and as well as your global news, because again, the macrocosm, the outside bigger thing, inevitably has an impact on the macrocosm or the microcosm, which is a smaller thing. So be prepared. Second, when it comes to strength, as the definition has 9 different ways to explain to you what strength is, it can vary from the physical, mental, spiritual, psychological, emotional, all those types of strength. And it's important that you learn in those particular areas how you define yourself. How do you show to become more emotionally strong? How do you show that you're going to become more physically strong through your health? How do you show that you become more mentally strong or strengthen yourself? And then lastly, with signs you're becoming stronger, like the what basically about almost 16, 17 that we named, and there's many more other signs. Real takeaway from that is learn what your strengths are, learn what your weaknesses, aka your areas of growth are, and apply those where possible, because at the end of the day, the only thing or things that you have control over is yourself and the decisions that you make. So for you, if you want to become stronger, you look at these particular signs and you take these steps. And again, it is not a full out leap of faith all the way and boom, I'm done, I mastered it. It is seen as an incremental change, day by day, step by step, implementation by implementation. And that's where you get the trial and error and you learn and you grow to become stronger, bigger, faster, all of that stuff. But other than that, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in for another episode of What's the Word Wednesdays. We will be back at it in not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday with episode 12. And we are about 11 to 10 episodes away from the season and the series finale, because someone wanted to know. But that won't be until December. But in the between time, check out some more content. Again, go check out Kundan. Check out all the folks that you see on here. Subscribe to YouTube, to A.D.V.I.S.S Speaks, all this different type of stuff. But other than that, also remember to keep your pace, which is your patience, awareness, consistency, and empathy as we could keep moving on. Other than that, y'all, peace and one love. Until next time, we're out.